Hello again, I am Jim Bob. Welcome back to another episode of American Midwest. You see, we're just bringing our truck up here at the moment. Just park up here near the mill. So we're up here. We've got some things that we need to get done today. We're still a day away from being able to harvest our canola. So today will be about tending to other stuff on the farm and also starting to clear off the stubble from the fields 22, 23 and 24. Get them prepped and ready for their next planting. So over there we have our truck that we brought up here with our new Garant Cotter slurry transport tank. We purchased that at the end of the last episode. We'll be running some slurry over to our farm today. Don't forget we have those two placeable tanks in the ground. Each can hold 100,000 litres. And I've also moved, you may remember I stacked all these up, I've actually moved two leftover boxes that were just there. They have been put into the silo. We had updates and new mods yesterday. One of which was an update for the silo. So that can now hold beets, potatoes and wood chips along with the usual grains, and the capacity has been uprated from 210,000 to 300,000. So now I'm kind of stuck and a bit of a quandary, because we have these beet boxes here and we now have the ability to store beets there. So having spent all that time last episode boxing up those beets and then stacking them here quite nicely and neatly, this is now kind of a wasted attempt, because as soon as I finish doing that, this silo becomes available with an update which allows us to actually store the beets in there directly. So I don't know whether or not to keep these boxes here like this, or whether to actually just store them in the silo. Let me know what you think in the comments. That'll help sway my decision, I think, as to whether we keep the boxes or whether we just dump them straight in the silo. I did purchase something else, as I said. The leftover bales that we had at the end of the last episode gave me enough money to buy this. Now this is the Linda forklifter, and this is a fantastic little mod. I absolutely love this. So let's bring it out into the open for you, just to give you a little bit of an idea of it. So we've got this tiny little cabin with a couple of joysticks and a steering wheel, and we have this amazing turning circle. Look at how tight we can turn here. It's incredible. And we have really good range of movement on these as well. So you can see we can raise and lower our forks, and the forks go all the way up. Look how high we can go on those forks. That's insanely high. And we have tilting action on those as well. But wait, there's more. Not only can we do all that as well, but we can also do this. How cool is that, to have adjustable forks as well? This is absolutely brilliant, and it's a really heavy piece of equipment as well. So whereas our tractor was struggling with the weight of those three boxes and needed to have a rear weight and weighted rear wheels to be able to lift them up, this can just pick up three boxes absolutely fine, no issues whatsoever. Let's zoom in a bit. So what I'm going to do, just to show this off, these three boxes I am going to put into the silo. So let's see. First off, I want to get the angle of the forks right, change the height a little bit, and make sure the width is good. There we go. Just drive in and tilt them back, raise them up, and look at that. Absolutely no issues with the vehicle whatsoever. Obviously the boxes are a little wobbly because, you know, they're small boxes and they're stacked three high. But as long as you're not too aggressive with your acceleration and your steering, they'll be absolutely fine. There's no lean. That thing is sitting flush to the ground. There's no leaning forward under the weight of these three boxes. I love this forklift. It's brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. So this will eventually get taken over to our beat storage area that we created with the beat storage and beat sell points. It'll go and live over there, and that's what we'll use to actually do our beat loading. You can see now, the beats going down in the boxes, and the count in the bottom right corner is dropping as the beats are filled in there. These silos now, as you can see, do accept beats. And you may notice as well that the actual entry bay here has changed ever so slightly. There used to be a grate there, that's gone now. It's an open bay. So my stomach is gurgling like crazy. Apologies if you can hear it gurgling away in the background. It's been going crazy for about 5 minutes now. Sorry about that. So yeah, I love this forklift. It is going to go and live once we're kind of finished up here. I am going to bring it all the way down to this area here, the MC root crop sale area. So if I just click on that for a second, it'll come and live down here. So we'll be able to use it if we make pallets over here. We'll be able to use it to then just bring those pallets over to this sell point. On top of that, it does have a bucket attachment, so it's in miscellaneous. I would thought a great place for it to be stored would have been here in skid steer loaders, but apparently it's here in miscellaneous. So here you can see we have the Linda, sorry, because it's a German company, Linda H40D. Costs $9,800 to buy, so really cheap. And then the pallet forks are only another $300. Now there are two types. There's the attacher on fork, and then you've got the long forks. The attacher on fork, I haven't used those yet, but I think those are for if you want to sort of suspend something. So whereas we have like this, the rocker arm for the CSZ tools, and you can then dangle pallets and things from that, I think that's what the attacher on fork is for, because it has basically on the end of one of the forks it has a little sort of hooked area as if to raise something up that way. I haven't tried that yet. And then you've got the long forks as well, which are the orange ones you can see in the screenshot there. We're just using the standard forks on this, but there is also a shovel as well, and it's a good size shovel, 4,000 litres. So this will be what we'll use to load beets into this area here as well. In fact, I may even buy two of these, because when we go for sheep, I may just buy a second one and leave it up at the top farm, because it's going to be fantastic. If I skip my way back into it, it's going to be absolutely fantastic for doing wool pallets. It really is. So yeah, it's currently up here. It's going to stay up here for a little while I kind of figure out what I'm going to do with those beets. So again, let me know in the comments. Do we stick with the beet boxes until they're all gone, or do we just store them all straight away in the silo? Let me know in the comments. And yeah, this will stay up here for now until that's all kind of resolved, and then it'll make its way over to our beet storage area and live over there. And when we get sheep, we'll probably bring another one in, because we'll get the wool pallets will spawn just here, and I could potentially even start storing wool pallets in here. Who knows? So yeah, blah 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 blah. What else do we need to do today? Well, we need to do this slurry transport, so let's start running that first of all. Let's make my way over to the truck. This running does feel a little bit slow. We have some extra cash as well, 38. In fact, there's one other thing I want to do today as well. And while we've got the truck up here, it's going to be a little bit quicker. We'll do that with the truck. So we had another set of mods go live yesterday. So 7 new mods went live yesterday in total, one of which is the West Coast. Everybody is having issues trying to download that right now. I've kind of given up. I sat with it at 100% for over an hour before I finally, pressed back to see if it had installed, and it hadn't. And this is after about 8 hours of trying to install it last night, and a good 3 hours of trying to install it again today. I've given up on trying to get that thing. Bill has put out a statement on his Facebook page saying that Giants have confirmed it definitely does work on console. I still have yet to see a single PS4 user post anything to suggest that they've had it installed. I haven't seen any video footage go up on YouTube. I searched about 20 minutes ago before I started doing this video, and it is currently about 2 o'clock in the afternoon here in the UK. And not only that, but I've also searched live on PlayStation, and there is not one single person streaming the West Coast either. So there is some kind of problem for PS4 users at the very least. Now, it may well be fine and installing for Xbox users, but for PS4 users, I have yet to see a single person install, with that map installed. So I kind of think that the file itself has not been uploaded properly by Giants. Not saying there's anything wrong with what Bill submitted. I'm saying that Giants have made a mistake with their server configuration somewhere. This is what I believe anyway. And for whatever reason, it's just not letting people download it properly. I know the servers are massively busy because everybody and their dog are trying to download this map right now, but this is not the first time that this has happened. I mean, in the past, if you go all the way back to when Sandy Bay first came out, that map took me 6 hours to download and install. It took some people very, very few attempts. Some people got it first or second time. Other people, like me, it took 6 hours. Other people, it took a day or two before they actually had that map installed. But people had that map installed pretty much the second it went live. And you started seeing screenshots and videos and live streams almost immediately, or within the first hour of that going live on the Mod Hub. Still have yet to see a single thing anywhere so far this time out. And there was another mod a couple of months back that came out, and it wasn't working. Nobody could download it, and it wasn't until the following day when Giants were back in the office that all of a sudden people could start downloading it and installing it. So I think something might be wrong with what they've put onto the server. I think they might not have uploaded it properly, or the version that they've... there's something wrong with what they've uploaded. Not the file itself, just the way it's been uploaded. For whatever reason, PlayStation users just do not seem to be able to download it. So we'll see what happens with that. But anyway, I digress. As I said, 7 mods went live yesterday. We've seen one of them, which was the Linda forklifter. Another one that went live was the placeable fruit trees. Now, I love the idea of these. These are fantastic. And they are basically very, very similar to greenhouses. So they need water and they need manure. And they will generate an income for you. The income amount will vary depending on whether they have both of their requirements met or just one of their requirements met, and also depending on the difficulty that you're on as well. So they will generate, I think, $20 per hour on medium, which is what we're playing on, if you have just water. And if you have water and manure, then it goes to $40, which is what it states just there. Now, I do know that if you're playing on hard, the maximum amount you can get is only $20, and I believe, if memory serves me correct, on easy, the maximum you can get is $80 per hour. The general rule when it comes to easy, medium, and hard is that whatever the price is on medium in terms of a generated income or a sale price for a crop, then easy will be double that, and hard will be half that. That's the kind of the general rule. So you expect to make $20 an hour on hard for these that are fully stocked with water and manure, and $80 an hour on easy. And we have 38,000, so we can afford to place 7 of these trees. So we're going to start with some orange trees, and we're going to plant a little orange grove. So I want to get these nice and kind of up against the edge a little bit like this. And I want to pan the camera around like so. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to create a little orange grove over here. So that's the first tree. And now I'm going to rotate that around a little bit. That's 2. Rotate it a bit more. That's 3. And rotate again. That's 4. That's about the right distance. Rotate again. That's 5. That's 6. And let's rotate that one round like that. And that's 7. And there we go. We have 7 trees now. 7 orange trees. And by rotating them around like that, what I've done is I've basically stopped them all looking identical in the placement. So they all are sort of faced at roughly kind of different angles. So they look like individual unique trees. It just helps break up the monotony. Obviously with fir trees, they all look pretty much identical. So when you plant these in rows, they just look incredibly uniform. And this just helps to break up some of that a little bit by having uneven foliage patterns. They're not, and trunks bending in different directions. They're not identically placed. Just makes them look a little bit nicer and a little bit more realistic, I think. So we need to add manure and we need to add water to these as well, and we're going to do that in just a moment. We're out of money, so we can't add any more trees in, but the plan is to add in probably a second line of orange trees and then two rows of apple trees around here, and then the second half of this field, anywhere from basically this entranceway back that way, is just going to be, at least for now, a grass field. But this will be our nice little orchard here where we'll have 14 orange trees and 14 apple trees. That's kind of the plan. So let's head back over to the farm now that we've got those placed in. What we need to do is we need to get our cultivator up and running and start spreading some slurry on our farm. And to do that, we're going to need digestate, essentially, because we have that supply of digestate and I kind of want to use that up. We're going to get started on field 22 first of all. So let me just park the truck. I'm just going to stick it just here this time, out of the way. What I need to do is bring up the Terra variants up to here so we can collect our manure equipment. So let's enter that. Running a little bit low on fuel as well, so let's quickly top up the fuel level as well. On our map, just over here on this corner of our farm, we've got those 2 underground excuse me, those 2 underground storage tanks for slurry. Now they will only hold slurry, they won't hold digestate, but we also have a little sort of a little sort of shelter area here as well, and it looks the same as these shelters. Yeah, we've got 3 of them placed here like this. That little area next to where we've got those 2 tanks is a double stack of these, kind of like we have just over there, where we have our 2 augers just over there. You can see our grain auger is actually falling into the ground again. This is just about full. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to store our slurry spreading equipment there next to those underground slurry tanks. That's where it's going to be located. Now it's going to bug me, so I'm going to just reposition this grain auger a little bit, stop it from falling into the ground. I don't know why it keeps doing it, and I don't know, as I say, if it's this map. There we go, it's bounced up again. I don't know if it's this map that's the problem, or it's just a problem with the equipment itself or combination of the both, but it keeps happening. I've noticed on this map, my auger tanks, etc., keep falling into the ground, so a little annoying. But yeah, basically we're going to go grab our slurry equipment. Then once we've connected up at our dairy farm, we're going to take that equipment over to the BGA, fill it with digestate from the large digestate tank at the BGA, and this is the digestate that was produced when we sold all of those silage bales. And then I think we've got around 110,000 litres, somewhere around that mark if I remember rightly. We're going to fill up this, and this holds with its total setup with the back tank and then the attached tank, being pulled behind. This holds around about 40,000 litres. Our transport truck that's waiting for us over there by the cows, that holds 30,000. So with this and then 2 shuttle runs using that truck, we can withdraw and use around about 100,000 litres of digestate. And then when that's done, then we'll start sorting out slurry on top of that as well. So the first thing I'm going to get done is get this equipment up and running on the field, and while that's then doing that, we can then start doing some other jobs while we're waiting for our worker to cultivate the field. And that will include obviously going back to those orchard trees that we've just planted and putting down some water and manure for those trees and get them producing at a nice good rate as well. But as I say, first things first, I want to get the cultivator up and running because we're going to hire a worker, and it's going to be a while for that worker to actually do the fields. So much so that you're probably not going to see a lot of cultivating in this episode. Our worker's just going to sort of plod away for us in the background while we do other stuff. And then if the episode finishes and the cultivating needs still need to be done, we'll continue doing that off camera, ready for the next episode. So let's get hooked up to that tank there. Now I need to switch cameras because I can't see anything out the back window anymore. There we go. So this is our nice little setup, our 40,000 litre setup. This is going to go over to the BGA. Let's get the beacons on. And we're going to fill up with digestate, and then we're going to take it over to field 22 and start cultivating and cleaning off that field. And then we'll get on with some other stuff. So I will see you guys in just a moment. Alright, we're here on field 10. Not field 10, field 22. So this is our stubble that's left over from our corn harvest. Let's get the truck up into the far top corner over there and start cleaning this field off. And we won't have enough in this tank to completely clean this field, but we'll make a good progress. I would imagine we'll probably do somewhere between a third and half of the field, and then obviously we'll shuttle run the rest of the slurry over, or the rest of the digestate over, to actually finish this field off. Let's get the worker up and running, because it's going to take a long time to clean our fields using this particular setup, but it is going to give us, it is going to fertilise the fields for us at the same time. So Yes, we could do it much faster if we cultivated. But we couldn't spread the slurry as efficiently, I don't think. So I'm going to do it like this time out. We'll try it like this, and then what I might do on the next field is cultivate it first, and then just spread slurry, which I think will spread with a wider slurry arc. I'm not entirely sure. But we'll leave this worker running like this, and let's go and start transporting some slurry down to the farm with our tanker. Oh, we are paying for this, aren't we? I remember we finished off field 12. There we go, that's better. When we did field 12 a few episodes ago, we cultivated it after the oilseed radish. We actually had to pay just to finish the field off because we ran out of slurry. So turn that off. We are now using our digestate supply in the tanks. And here we are at the truck. So let's start filling this up. One thing I do like about these tanks is this pipe on the back, this clear pipe which shows you the slurry level within. It takes a little while to fill up. It's not too bad in terms of filling up speed, but when it comes to unloading or overloading into another container, so when we drop this off at the farm into those underground slurry bins, they will whiz down. That level will fall way faster than it rises. But I do like kind of watching the slurry just going up like this. It's kind of cool, I think. Let's get our engine on because we're almost ready to drive off. And there we go. So let's get this shuttled over to the farm. Here we are arriving at the farm. So I'll be able to show you what I mean with those storage bins. I'm actually going to cut through just here so I can get the right angle when it comes to unloading. Those are those two little sheds that I was talking about there. So the storage tank that mounts on the back of the Terra variant, and then the separate tank with the cultivator attachment, they are going to live under those two sheds just there now. Once we've finished doing this round of cultivating, but we need to unload into this tank first. So let's move forward a little bit closer. There we go. There's the trigger point, and look how quickly that is going down. It's shooting down. So quick when it comes to unloading like that. So we have, I think, enough to do 2 more loads, and that's taking from both our cows and our pigs to shuttle down, which means we'll have about 90,000. Each of those tanks holds 100,000, so we won't quite be able to fill up one tank, but we will have the slurry on hand down here for when we need it. And obviously we can keep shuttling more, and then once I've done these other 2 runs, I'll then go over to the BGA, fill it with digestate so we can top up the unit that's currently working in field 22. So this is our 3rd tanker trip, and I don't think we're going to get a full tanker this time around. Let's check our animals. Yeah, there you can see we're running out of manure or liquid manure at our cows. That's it. So we've got just under half a tank, so we'll need to top the rest up. And our pigs, this will be our 3rd and final delivery of slurry from up here, at least for the moment anyway. We'll have to obviously let those slurry levels go back up again. So let's open these gates up. Head on through. There we go. And while that's doing that, let's go back, close those gates. Like so. Let's open the gates in front of us. We're almost ready. And there we go. That's our third and final trip from up here today. Let's close the gates up again. And let's go make this final delivery. And there we go. So, now it's time for us to go fill up on digestate so that we can top up the equipment that's currently working away for us on field 22. And there we go. So our equipment is working away on the field diligently for us there. We have our next load waiting here off the field. Let's just see how we're doing. Down to about 8,000 litres of digestate left. We've done about a third of the field, so that's pretty much in line with what I was expecting. Means hopefully we'll be able to do the entire field with the digestate supply that we have. We've got another 60,000 litres. It's going to be close. We may not quite manage it, but I think with the amount of slurry that we have, we should be able to do the rest of this field if needed, and field 24, and then of 23 we won't be able to slurry that. We'll just have to, do something a little bit different. So we definitely need to carry on increasing our animal numbers so that we are producing slurry at a faster rate. But we also probably need to start working on building up a supply of digestate at the BGA with some grass being chaffed and fermented into silage as well. Not to mention the additional money that's going to generate for us. So, right, time to sort out our orchards. So the first thing we need to do is we need to water our trees. So I'm here in our case Puma pulling our large cubic liner water tanker, and we need to be close. And basically you drive up and then you press L3 to unload water. Now these only require 500 litres of water, to fill up their water requirements, but you do need to be quite close to the trees to be able to actually do it. So there we go. You can see the water levels going up very quickly. Like I said, they only need 500 litres, very small amounts. And then they'll need 1,000 litres of manure per tree as well. There's our next tree. And then last but not least, tree number 7. And there we go. So they will now start generating an income for us. However, we want a higher income than that. We want a full income of $40 per hour. So we need to add manure to those trees as well. That's relatively straightforward to do. We just need to pile the manure at the base of the tree. So let's head back to the farm, grab our manure fork, get a couple of scoops of manure, and then bring that back over here and get that sorted. Our worker has run out of digestate, so let's go top the tanks up. Made some pretty decent progress on the field, as you can see, but I do think we are going to fall just short of being able to complete this field on digestate alone. So let's pull alongside the tanker. Try and get close enough to, there we go, they can both fill at the same time. Obviously we only have 30,000 litres in that Garant tank, so we won't completely fill either of our tools. Or one might fill up, the other one certainly won't. There we go. So we just basically pull away. Let's unfold the cultivator attachment at the back again. Try and line up exactly where we were. And the tyre tracks is usually the easiest way to do this. Just get your wheels in line with where the tyre tracks are. Like so. And then just restart the worker. And there we go. So we need to get another load of slurry or digestate. We'll do that first, and then once we've done that, we'll do the manure for our orchard. So while this tank is filling up, let's go through the full list of mods that came out yesterday. Obviously, we've talked about the forklift and the West Coast map and the orchard trees, because we are using those as we speak. But what else went live yesterday? Well, quite a few things in total. There was obviously the update for the BSM silo. On top of what we've already discussed, there was also the Brymont BB18B, a nice trailer by Smetty and Angelus from CNT Modding. There was also the solar shed placeable. Now this we do actually have installed on the drive at the moment, so this I can show you as well. This is the solar shed. So quite expensive, 51,500. But this is basically a storage bay. I don't have the money to pop one on, so I can't stick it on the map for you to have a look at it. But as you can see, there are solar panels mounted on the roof, and this will generate $60 an hour in electrical energy. So that's quite cool. There's also a South America gates and fence pack, and there was also a Volmer VTS 300 silage shield as well, which is basically another kind of scooper slash leveler for moving silage. So that's the full breakdown of mods on top of what we already had discussed. And of course, with the release of the West Coast, albeit a temperamental release, This does mean we are now very close to the return of Massey Manor and then shortly after Fent Farm. So both of those franchises will be returning to the map, to the farm and the channel very soon. As soon as I've been able to actually get my copy of the West Coast installed and set up, then we will start to bring both of those two franchises back. So we'll have 2 additional playlists. And then, of course, we're, just over 2 weeks away now from the Platinum expansion. If you haven't already seen the map for the expansion, it is on my Facebook page. I will link that in the description so you can have a look at what the map looks like. Giants did post that as their Fact Sheet Friday this weekend. So we can now see kind of the field layout. We don't know exactly which fields we're going to be starting with, or how everything's going to be laid out, but you can kind of suss some stuff out just by looking at the kind of screenshot and the map layout, so you can help kind of figure certain bits out. So we'll be running a farm on that as well, so a lot of farm content is going to be going live very, very soon. I've taken the wrong turning, haven't I? No matter, we can link back up just around this corner. Hop over the rail tracks just here. There. Where is he? Where is he? There he is. There is our worker cultivating away for us. So this is pretty much the last of the digestate. Got a little bit left, but we'll probably leave that where it is. Right, let's move back up here. Where is... There we go. So yeah, as I say, lots and lots of farming sim content coming up over the next few weeks. And of course, we've also got, at some point in November, or at least as penciled in as a November release, we've got the Black Sheep Modding Valley the Old Farm map coming out as well. So, so much stuff. I think we'll probably save the Valley the Old Farm until New Year now. We'll do a map tour as always when that goes live, but we probably won't do anything on that map as a let's play until the New Year, just to let things calm down a little bit, because otherwise we'll have way too many playlists all going live at the same point. So, right, manure. We need 3.5. Well, we get about 3,500 litres per scoop. We need 7,000 litres because each tree requires 1,000 litres. So handily, that's just 2 scoops. Now I could put this into a dump truck and take it down that way, but it's a lot of messing around with the truck for just one additional route, so one additional trip. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, because we're so close, I'm just going to run down like this. Just close the fork up, and you can see just how much that's leaned us forward. I'm going to run down to the farm, to the orchard like this. We'll scoop the stuff onto each of the trees, and then we'll come back, we'll grab a second scoop, and we'll finish the trees off, and then the trees will be done, and we'll start operating at full potential for us. Because it's a really short little trip. By putting our orchard over there, it is a really nice short little trip for us, which is good. I mean, that's why I put them over there. It's a field that I'm probably not going to use that much for grass work, so it gives us the potential to maybe even expand and have a second orchard in there at some point as well in the future. I don't want to become overly reliant on money generating placeables, although they're not like beehives or windmills or solar panels that just generate a static amount the second you place and that's it. These you do have to maintain. You have to water them, you have to give them manure, so you do kind of have to work for your money a little bit. Here we go. This is how we feed the manure. We basically just drive up to the tree like this, and you just pour in the manure around the base of the tree like that. So I'll do it at a shallower angle next time so you can see it building up. That's the first tree done. Let's do this one here. So just get it at a shallower angle. And there you go. So whereas the greenhouses have a manure box, these obviously don't. You just pile the manure around the trunk of the tree, like so. And then the manure just appears. And there we go. And it's also a great way, a great little visual indicator to check whether or not you're running low on manure and need to top them up. Obviously, if you've got the help menu open, then it'll give you an exact figure. But if you don't have the help menu open, like we don't at the moment, then you can at least get a visual kind of idea. Once the manure is gone, then you've only got about half of the manure or less remaining for that particular tree. So let's go back and get our second scoop, then we can finish off the other trees, and then we will look for something else to do. Alright, we are back with our second scoop of manure, so let's finish this tree off. This one is about halfway done so far. There we go. Move up to the next tree. Trying to get a nice angle for a screenshot as well while I'm doing this. And this is our last tree, which will have slightly less. I think this is probably going to be the best angle. There we go. So there we go, that is our little orchard there. 7 little orange trees. We'll put another row of 7 in probably next to them, and then once we get another 35 grand, and then the next 35 grand will probably be another 7 trees, but this time apple trees, and then another 35 grand later after that. We'll do the remaining 7. Interestingly enough as well, what's going to be useful for us going forward is that our dump trailer will hold 14,000 litres of manure. So once we get the second line of orange trees in, that one truck full of manure is all the manure we need for every single one of those trees. That's really quite handy. So once again, our little dump trailer is proving incredibly useful for us. It's great in terms of size for dumping into food troughs around the farm up here. It's quite versatile for seed transport if we need that, or for say pig food transport. It's been useful for that for us. We can probably use it for beet transport if we need to as well. Quite comfortably. It's really nicely versatile, and it hooks up really nicely to the pickup as well. So that's proving to be an amazingly useful little mod for us. Right, let's grab the bucket. Actually, no, we'll use the silage rake. Oops. There we go. We need to clean up after our cows. I forgot to do that this morning. So let's go clean up after them. They have made a bit of a mess, as they always do. At some point we are, as I say, going to have to seriously think about getting a Lely Juno up here for the cows. because they are needing to be cleaned at least twice a day, really, to keep their productivity tip-top. So it's becoming a bit of a chore having to come all the way up here to do nothing but clean up after the cows. And then Lady Juno would take care of that job for us. And the more cows we get, the bigger the mess is going to be as well. So definitely something for us to think about in the future. Just bouncing over that a little bit there. Let's try and pick those bits up. There we go. And tilt the forks. There we go. Nice, clean food trough area. Let's just take a look at our animal numbers right now. So we're up to 116 pigs. Wow. And 110 cows, which is good. Our current reproduction rate, just under 11 hours for the cows. That's pretty good. So we're getting 2 cows a day, and that rate's only going to get quicker. Our pigs, look at the reproduction rate on the pigs, less than 75 minutes for our pigs. That's incredible. So we are really going to start making a lot of pigs very, very soon. I mean, we're already making a lot, but when they get up to like 150, 200, those things are just going to be popping out every 10 minutes. It's ridiculous. We do have very little food left in one of our sections for our pigs, though. Let's just drop the butt rake off. Put the safety barrier on, so we don't accidentally stab somebody with it. And let's drop the front loader arms just there. We need to sort out the pigs. So we did pull up here and back the weight up. Like that. You can see that we've got hardly any canola / sunflowers / soybeans left. So let's take our dump truck. I keep calling it a dump truck. Our dump trailer. Let's take that and go and pick up the sunflowers that we have. And I don't really want to buy any pig food. I was hoping to hold on to the sunflowers, but 5,000 litres or so that we have in storage is nothing. So we're going to go pick up our pig food. Our sunflowers, and we're going to tip that in just to make sure that our pigs don't drop in productivity today, because as you've seen, we are really, really burning through our slurry incredibly quickly, so I want to keep them manufacturing that as fast as possible. Alright, here we go with our sunflowers. Hardly anything here. Like 5,500 litres. That'll be out really quickly. There we go. Still indicating to turn those off. And we've just had a great demand pop up for soybean over at John D's Grains. So let's take a look. I mean, we've only got about, what, 6,000 litres, I think, of soybean. So it's nothing. It's probably not worth us even contemplating selling. But I'm curious as to what the price is going to be. So I'll just back this in here. There we go. And let's take a look at that great demand. Wow, $1,100 for soybean. That is pathetic. So my guess is that will go up. But I mean, look at the prices around it. Even the lowest red price that we have, which is the mill here at the farm, is higher. well, no, it's not higher, but it's almost as high as John Dee's grains. You know, the Ferguson grain elevator is a terrible price. That is higher than the Great Demand price, considerably higher. You know, it's $220 per 1,000 litres higher, and a whopping 1925 at the railroad mill. That is an appallingly bad Great Demand. I mean, like I said, we've got what 6,500 litres there, so we're not going to sell it. There's no point. But that is awful. So, okay, so I've just topped up the variant for the last time. Truck on the roadside there is empty, so this is pretty much the last of our digestate. But we are also out of time as well as digestate. So I'm going to finish this field off between episodes, and then when we come back we'll get a cultivator up and working on field 23 to clean that off at speed. We'll set the variant up and running with slurry on field 24 to get that cleaned, and then we'll do some planting and make sure everything's ready for the following day's harvest of our canola, which you can just see in the background there. And as soon as the West Coast actually does install, which is probably going to be Monday once Giants have fixed whatever's causing the issues, then that'll be a map tour up straight away as soon as I get the opportunity, which means we may possibly see Massey Manor on Thursday. That'll be interesting to see if that actually happens or not. I may hold back until the following week. We'll see. It depends how quickly I can get West Coast installed and sort of scouted for where I'm going to situate everything. Which means Fent Farm will be probably a week or so after that. So those two franchises on the brink of returning to the channel now. Don't forget to let me know in the comments what you want me to do with the beets up at the animal farm. Do we keep them in the pallets? Do we store them in the silo? Let me know. That will just help me decide what I want to do with them. And thank you for watching. This episode is pretty much done, so I will see you with more American Midwest very soon.